We're the reigning Bundesliga champions, but I need more. I need the Champions League. This is Moneyballers, a mini-series where I use performance data to guide tactics and transfers. We're at Werder Bremen, measuring hard work using distance covered, high-intensity sprints, and pressures attempted. In our first season, we cracked the top 3. Huge changes for Season 2 saw us take the fight right down to the last day, and, well, as the intros just said, we got over that hump in Season 3. It is now Season 4, and the goalposts have moved. I want the Champions League, and to get there, the metric needs to evolve. Up until now, I've been exporting distance covered, sprints and pressures for all players in the Bundesliga, and using that to calculate both the average and 80th percentile for each metric by position group. I'd then search for players who are above the average for all 3 metrics, and above the 80th percentile in at least one. So they had to be good at everything, but exceptional at one thing. This is fine, but I think we can do better. Pressures attempted shows a player's willingness to engage, which is why I included it, but it's not the only metric to do so. Tackles attempted and headers attempted do too, so let's include them. This feels a little unnatural to me. Normally I'd be measuring success rate in percentages because I'd want to measure competency, but that's not what I'm looking for here. I'm interested in effort. I want players who will put themselves about rather than players who are necessarily good. Those are the criteria, and I'm going to use them to create a singular effort score. That means exporting screenshots. I'm going to focus on the Bundesliga, Zweite Bundesliga, Austrian Bundesliga, Danish Superliga, and the Hrvatska Nogometna Liga. Now, pressures and tackles are possession dependent, or lack of possession dependent, I suppose, so we'll need to adjust accordingly, and that means manually recording the possession of every team. Now you know why I select only a handful of leagues. If you want to know more about adjusting for possession, I've linked a video below. Now this gives me a lovely little spreadsheet like this. For each metric we have the number of times. We have the percentile they are in compared to their position group, rounded up to the nearest 10, and a little bar chart to help me visualize it. We also have 3 scores at the end: running, engagement, and effort. Running is the average percentile for distance covered and sprints. Engagement is the average percentile for pressures, tackles, and headers. Effort is the average of those 2 scores. Because there are fewer metrics in the running index, that means distance covered and sprints are weighted slightly higher. Which is deliberate, because I intend to run these f***ers into the ground. But it's that effort score I'm going to key in on. It's what you're going to see when I go through the squad and transfer targets. This is our Moneyball metric. But before that, let's see how we compare to the rest of the league. We cover the most distance, about 2 kilometers more than Mainz. We perform 66 more high-intensity sprints than Stuttgart, and attempt 1.5 more tackles than RB Leipzig. We're 5th for pressures and bottom half when it comes to headers, but overall we come out with an effort score of 86, top of the league. That's what I want. I can comfortably say we are the hardest working team in Germany. But how did the players get on individually? As with previous episodes, we'll skip keepers, they're fine. All 4 centre-backs are doing well. Friedel and Chase benefit from occasional minutes at fullback, but any score above 80 has to be considered elite. Stark 67 is solid, but now 33, he's been let go, as I think we can improve on him. At fullback, Lasse Rosenboom continues to be the greatest player in FM. Anton Bauerler is pretty good himself, but could improve. Sanusi Bar and Lucas Belay are more than reasonable for backups. Now midfield is tricky. I think this might be our ceiling with this tactic. Alvaro and Stay scoring above 50 is good, that's the bar. Linnen as the halfback is going to run less, but I'd still expect him to engage more. As he's in the last year of his contract, he's been sold to Derby for a ridiculous €22.5 million. We need to improve on Lubac and Barry, but I don't want too much turnover. As Lubac has interest, he's the one to go, $7.5 million to Stuttgart. Attacking midfield is a similar story. Kovic is outperforming Gullikson, but both are disappointing. Again, I think this is a tactical limitation, and we'll touch on that in a moment. Up front, everything is wonderful. Hiki Top does everything. Marvin Pieringer and Martin Kars cover every blade of grass. Jonah Niemiec is the weakest of the four, and he's amazing. Unfortunately, that means other clubs are watching, like West Ham, who met Kars' €25 million release clause. So that's 4 players out for €55 million, all who need replacing. Actually, there's a fifth. Wesley Ada joined Cologne for €2.5 million. Our aim is now the Champions League, so it's time to go big in the transfer market. Except, I'm not sure I know how to go big. Last season we made €98 million profit, $20 million of which was from transfer fees. For our projections, let's assume we'll do worse this year, even though we are aiming to improve. So let's say 3rd in the league, that's $15 million less in prize money, and the playoff round of the Champions League, that's $23.5 million less in prize money. That still gives us an additional $40 million to spend on wages to break even. Add that onto the $32 million we actually spent, and that's $72 million, or €1.3 million per week. That pushes our average wage up to around $50k, and maximum $100k for a star player. Guess what? We're not coming close to that. Myliro Bogard is an elite option available on a free transfer. Namdi Collins would be a signal of intent. Yannick Lurs sits between the two, both in terms of effort score and quality of league. I know I said I wanted to swing big, but I can't ignore a bargain. Yannick Lurs is young, German, and available for €2.4 million and 28k per week. At halfback, someone who might not run as much but needs to engage. Atakan would bring experience and elite engagement numbers. Berger is a solid all-rounder with the dives into tackles trait, whilst Wagner engages more but covers less ground. Top flight experience counts. Atakan wants to wait until after the Euros, so Berger is our man. €4.5 million and 60 grand a week. To replace Lubac, the decision was a little more straightforward. Fabian Nürnberger was miles ahead of any of the other affordable options, and a bargain too, €2.4 million and 22 grand a week. Up front, 3 very similar options. Ake is the front runner, less running, more engagement. Hollerbach was the Bundesliga top scorer in the first season and a running machine. CD Jatta is a little behind, but much cheaper.
Few times in behind the back when it's through and goal, you know he's scoring that. Another Benedict Hollerbach goal. Benedict Hollerbach goal. Few times in behind the back when he's through and goal, you know he's scoring that. Another Benedict Hollerbach goal. Benedict Hollerbach goal. Benedict. Benedict. Benedict.
$8.75 million and 65k per week is great value for a proven commodity. So that's 4 players in for 18 million, nearly 40 million in profit. That brings our wage spend up to 900k per week. That's well underneath what we budgeted. In fact, it's under what we budgeted 2 years ago. One of these days I will stop being so tight. That day, however, is not today. Now tactically, the changes for the upcoming season are minimal. I've added tackle harder to the midfield diamond. I've kind of made peace that they're not going to be leaders in effort score, and it's kind of by design. The in-possession shape means the strikers often lead the initial press. The aggressive out-of-possession instructions means our midfield is often bypassed and players funneled towards our wingbacks. That keeps the ball away from the DM and the outlet attacking midfielder in particular, so I shouldn't be shocked they don't contribute as much. It's perhaps a little embarrassing it's taken this long for the penny to drop. Our pressing midfielders should be more involved though. Stay and Alvaro are above average, and hopefully Nürnberger will be too. That gives us a squad planner like this. Once again, 2 players in each position. So all that's left to do is play the game. For the 2nd season running, we lost the Super Cup. Doesn't matter, not a real competition anyway. Our important games against Bayern are in the league, where Top and Hollerbach put us in control before we threw it away. Only for Pieringer to score the winner off the bench. Look, by now I think it's safe to say we're good. We're beating teams like RB Leipzig. We're beating teams like AC Milan. Hell, we even got revenge on Man City after they destroyed us last season. Max Bayer still likes to score against us, and Eintracht Frankfurt have an amazing knack for holding us to a draw, but come the winter break we were once again top of the table. It's tight, just 4 points separate the top 4 teams. But things are about to change. Dortmund activated Rosenboom's 25 million release clause and then barely played him. This is deliberate sabotage. Augsburg did the same for Karim Koulibaly, 18.75 million this time, and he did actually play. Now that's fine, I'd shortlisted players in the summer just in case. Unfortunately, Lucas Reich has since moved to Fiorentina. Miko Alentovic has signed a new contract at Schalke, so we've bought in Bendegush Buller. I'm not sure he's starter quality though, so just a loan for now. Ramon Hendricks was my first choice amongst left-footed centre-backs, but he's moved to Osasuna. Nicholas Colby flat out rejected us, and so Attila Salai is the new arrival, once again on loan. Despite being prepared for this eventuality, I don't feel too good about the players we've been able to bring in. Perhaps I need not have worried. Holstein Kiel aren't exactly the strongest team in the league, but Boller put in a man-of-the-match performance as he registered 2 assists. He then missed a penalty in the 10th minute against Dortmund, before Gustavo Schär helped them complete the double over us. That was the kick up the arse we needed. A late win over Hoffenheim was followed by a 5-0 drubbing of Hertha Berlin. Boller scored from the spot in a 3-0 win over Kaiserslautern, and momentum is one hell of a drug. Marvin Pieringer and Benedikt Hollaback both finished with braces in a 6-1 demolition of Wolfsburg. Come April, we were 9 points clear, with just 6 games remaining. Back-to-back titles a mere formality. And then we drew with Bayern. Then we drew with Leipzig. A Gullikson hat-trick got us back on track as we humbled Stuttgart 4-0, only for Nimiec to get an early red card against Frankfurt, and we fell to a 3-1 defeat. Our lead was down to 2 points. We cannot afford to slip up. Well, we can. Our goal difference means a win and a draw would be good enough. Against Mönchengladbach we got the first part of the job done. Pieringer opened the scoring, Gullikson added a brace. The finale was away to Darmstadt, already relegated, just 11 points all season. We could not find a way through, 0-0 at half-time. From the kick-off to the second half, an immediate highlight. Hollaback blocked, Alvaro follows up. And then the floodgates opened. Berger made it 5 minutes later. Gullikson had things wrapped up before the hour mark, and Pieringer put the icing on the cake in injury time. We are the champions again. The 6th Bundesliga title in Werder Bremen's history. We had a DFB Pokal to defend too, a chance to three-peat. Pieringer opened the scoring in the 8th minute. Alexander Pavlovic doubled our lead with an own goal. Kimmich halved the deficit with Bayern's first shot on target. Actually, it was their only shot on target. And that means we've done the double. But could it be a treble? We made it through the Champions League group phase quite comfortably. That earned us a round of 16 tie against Borussia Dortmund. They'd just beaten us in the league, and Pieringer wasn't going to let that happen again. Lima got his marching orders as we secured a narrow first leg lead. Back at ours, and not a sniff of complacency. Hollaback scored after 3 minutes, Alvaro after 7. We looked safe, even safer 6 minutes later when Nürnberger made it 3, before Hollaback secured his brace with just 24 minutes played. Man United awaited us in the quarter-finals. We beat them in the group phase last year, but Bruno Fernandes gave them the lead from the penalty spot this time round. We deserved nothing from the game, but Kiki Top spared us anyway. Once again, the second leg was to be played in Bremen. Once again, Hollaback opened the scoring. Once again, we were the worst team, but once again, we found a way. Hollaback set up Pieringer before returning the favour for a 4-1 aggregate win. Inter in the semis, a team we've played twice before, losing both times, and DeMarco was ready to make that 3 times. But not if Kiki Top has anything to say about it. Bauer set him up for the equaliser before his penalty turned the tie on its head. That lead lasted 11 minutes. Çalhanoğlu scored a penalty of his own, and then in the 93rd minute, Thuram broke our hearts. Still, a narrow away defeat is not insurmountable. It may have been if Martinez scored in the opening minutes of the return leg, but just one goal will bring the tie level. Gullickson's shot was blocked behind for a corner, and we have proven to be remarkably dangerous from set pieces. Not necessarily the initial delivery, but the second phase, Alvaro firing over. With 13 minutes on the clock, Hollerbach raced through but screwed his chance wide. Gullickson took aim from a free kick, only to be denied by Vicario. Inter are devastating on the counter-attack though, and Thuram should have wrapped things up but was denied by the woodwork. Of course, transitions are good for us too. Now we can attack an unsettled defence. Or give the ball away carelessly. Morata to serve it up on the plate for Martinez. 4-2 is how it finished, just one game too far. Look, we might have fallen short, but it's a fantastic season. And we've improved. Last year the quarterfinals, this year the semis. We've got 1 year left, and surely that means we make the final. Because progress is always linear, right? The performance certainly looks good, 1,200 more sprints than any other team in the Bundesliga. The lowest Opta too. Our new arrivals look good too. Yannick Lörs was a solid rotation option. Endergush Buller finished with 6 assists in half a season. Nürnberger finished with 11 goal contributions. Berger's 10 sprints and 6 pressures look to be an improvement on Linen. Benedikt Hollerbach performed more than 30 sprints per game while scoring 28 goals and setting up a further 18. Of course, I'll break this down fully in the next episode, where I'll be looking to find those marginal gains to finally bring Champions League glory our way. See you then. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a like or maybe even subscribing. Your support is greatly appreciated. And if you want a little more, you can become a YouTube member or Patreon, which includes director's cut versions of videos. Links in the description below.